What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus Lane, and this is 3 Minutes or Less. So earlier this week, I read a story about how in a Milwaukee suburb, there are numerous different fossils of all of these different prehistoric creatures. It was first discovered back in 1984 when two amateur paleontologists came across these fossils, and when they found them, they donated them to the University of Wisconsin, which then in turn went on to discover thousands of different fossils in the same location. Now, one of the things I found so interesting about this story is I've actually been to this suburb. My wife grew up not far from there, and let me tell you something. It is the most run-of-the-mill, ordinary place you've ever come across. I mean, it's your standard American suburb filled with shopping malls and cul-de-sacs, and if you get heartburn from your dinner at Chili's, no worries, there's a Walgreens right next door. But hiding underneath all of that was one of the most significant geological discoveries in centuries, and it all would have been missed had it not been for these two men who went looking for it. So there's this moment in the life of Moses after he flees Egypt. And he's out living in the wilderness of Midian, tending his father-in-law's sheep. And one day as he's tending sheep, he's out walking through the same wilderness he's walked day after day. He comes across the same mountain he's walked by day after day, and something catches his eye. He notices a bush that's on fire, but it's not burning up. You see, in the midst of the monotonous and mundane reality of his ordinary work, he encounters God himself in the burning bush. And God there gives him his personal name, and Moses' life would never look the same. And not only that, the life of God's people would never be the same. Desert Father Abba Powman once said this about Moses' encounter. He said, if Moses had not been tending his sheep in Midian, he would not have seen him who was in the bush. You see, I wonder how many times we end up missing God because we're looking for him in the midst of some transcendent experience or awe-inspiring revelation, when all the while God is right there for us in the midst of the monotonous and mundane realities of life. He's right there in the word of encouragement and kindness and forgiveness from a friend that draws us back to the gift of the gospel. He's right there in the sermon that you heard preached, beating the same drum of mercy and grace that has come to us in Jesus Christ. He's right there in bread and wine that you take and you eat, because Jesus has promised that somehow strangely and mysteriously, this is his body given and shed for you. And every single day as you do the simple work that God has called you to do, God is there, present with you, present for you, and not only that, present through you for the sake of the world. You see, God has hidden himself in the most ordinary places, so you don't have to go looking for him in the midst of some mystical experience, because he is right there in the mundane moments of everyday life. So friend, keep looking. Keep looking for the one who's hidden himself in plain sight. Keep your eyes open, because you never know. You might just come across the extraordinary.